What's going on, guys? Indy here with Ultimate 2 Reviews, and this is going to be a unreviewed video. Basically, it's just a video where I talk about my job site experience with a couple of tools here, and I'm not doing a review, not going to talk about the specs or doing anything versus like that. Just going to talk about my real-world experience with these tools and tell you, hey, do I like them or do I don't? It's going to be very, very simple there. Now, I will want to talk. What I want to talk about here is some of the Makita subcompact stuff. Now, I said in previous videos that I am not a fan of Makita's subcompact stuff. I really don't own any of their, the black tools. That means they're the compact series. I will say, I've only tried out the first generation of the subcompact drill and impact. I ended up finding this deal on eBay, which is pretty awesome of a deal. Got the tools in, they were great. My wife loves the subcompact impact. It's a really, just lightweight, small impact driver with a ton of power. It's actually quite impressive. However, I got the drill in. This is the new Gen 2, and this thing is significantly smaller than it looks, which is actually pretty cool. Here's the XPH12, which is already, not the biggest, hammer drill out there. Probably one of the smaller, drills that Makita makes. That's actually like, a pretty premium drill, and it's a good size smaller than that XPH12 too. I mean, look at that. That's quite impressive there. Of course, I've heard stuff about, these failing right around, this area. They do kind of, the shell can rip quite easily on these things. They're definitely not a heavy-duty drill. Even though they have the Makita name on it, it's subcompact, it's designed for light to mid-duty use. That's really what all they're intended for. If you want to get, more of the heavy-duty stuff, you're going to want to go for the upper-tier Makita stuff, just like Milwaukee, just like DeWalt. They make lower end stuff, and it's not all heavy duty, of course. Always something to be aware of there. But I will say, it actually is not that bad. Of course, don't use the 1.5 amp hour batteries with it. You're of course going to get significantly less performance. That's just how it is. So I like to use the 5 amp hour batteries. I know it's a compact tool, but you just want to get the kind of the best power you can from that tool, of course. I will say it does actually have pretty decent RPM, 1700 RPM, which is pretty cool. Haven't really got a chance to, try it out for like, months or anything. I did just get this in about a week ago, and I do like the overall feel of it. It feels really nice. It's way smaller in person than it looks, which is pretty cool. I could compare it to, say, like the Metabo HPT, their previous generation subcompact. I mean, check that out. It's even shorter than that one, and I already thought this was a really small drill, and it's just insanely small. Here's the current generation Metabo HPT. Not really a subcompact classification. I would kind of call it that. I mean, personally myself, it's pretty small, but even still, the Makita is just a hair smaller, and this actually got smaller than, or actually a little bit shorter than this drill here. So definitely pretty cool to see that second generation. I'm sure Makita will probably do a third generation if I had to guess, but they haven't really done any new subcompact tools out in a little while here now. So maybe it's going away, maybe it's not really too sure on that one. But anyways though, let's move into some more of the Metabo HPT stuff. This stuff is getting quite interesting very, very fast here. So you can find these two drills on eBay for really, really cheap now. I mean, these are like 40 bucks on eBay, these are like 50 bucks on eBay. They are coming with a new version of this drill here pretty quickly. It's already pretty much out in the rest of the world now. But of course, the US, we get it, maybe, maybe not. If you want the new version, you can buy it on, eBay or Amazon from Japan. You can also buy it from other countries now too. I've seen it come from like Australia, the UK. That's possible now too, because everywhere but the US gets the new cool tools. So that's kind of the fun part there. But anyways, I did get this in recently. This is the new DS18DEX, and it doesn't really, I guess it doesn't really replace this one. It doesn't really replace this one. It's kind of just like a middle drill here. It's not a hammer drill, which this is, and it's not technically a subcompact, which this is. So it kind of stands right in its own there. It's just totally by itself. Kind of a strange drill there. From using it though, I definitely like it. It's pretty cool because it kind of fills the role between these two drills. But it's not my favorite drill though, and I'll tell you why here. It's very loud. Check this out. And I'll hold it just kind of like right here, so it's about all the same from the microphone, which is on myself here. And that's on speed 2, so highest speed there, if you can hear that. It's pretty loud. Let me show you the, I'll put this in high speed here. Here's a subcompact. Listen to how this sounds. definitely quite a bit quieter there. It's not like ear-shatteringly loud like this thing is. And that's kind of my only complaint on this thing, is it's super, super loud. I don't know why it's that loud, but I do like the grip on it. It's definitely really comfortable. I like how they added, you know, some serrations here a little bit to give you a little bit more grip here, where a lot of the older style ones were kind of more of a hard plastic on the front. So if your hands got sweaty, you kind of could start slipping that drill quite a bit. And I have dropped this drill actually on job sites before, because it'll slip out of your hand. It's got a lot of torque to it, and that grip is just not great for the front of your hands there. Kind of always been one of my biggest complaints about this drill, is that I wish they had the nice soft rubber on the front as well too. So that's just something that they could definitely improve on there. Whereas this is like one of my favorite hammer drills, along with the XPH12. They're both excellent choices for hammer drills. They're both, I wouldn't say they're in the same price range. You can find these for about 50 bucks or cheaper on eBay. And these go for right around 60, 70, 80 in that price range. Both are excellent drills to have. Right about in the same classification here. If you want to see which one's longer, actually, is it? It's almost identical. I think the Makita is just a hair longer there than the Metabo. So they're both very, very similar. The Metabo does have a battery indicator light, because it does ship with the cheaper batteries, which are going to be these. And I'm not a fan of these batteries. They are not great. The newer versions are definitely a lot better. Where they have, of course, the fuel gauge on the front now, which is awesome there. So great tools. They get the job done, and relatively affordable for what you can find them for. So something to keep in mind there. Now, one thing I want to talk about, and someone actually mentioned this on a previous video I just did not too long ago, a couple days ago, was I was preparing to do this video, and I came in, checked some comments, and someone commented this about the Metabo HPT. Their front reverse switches are very, very loose. And I was thinking that too. I've used these drills for quite a while. Something that I definitely notice is the quality is not as great as the Makita's. I will say that, guys. Makita is definitely like a step up when it comes to, I would say Makita definitely, upper, higher tier tools, whereas the Metabo HPT, just from the price range alone, as well as the quality that I've seen, they're definitely mid-range. That's what I'll say about Metabo, Hikoki. They're definitely a mid-range tool. There's no other way to look at that. Based on their pricing, they price definitely significantly under Makita, and they of course are definitely, quality-wise, from what I can tell from using them for quite a while now, is they're definitely mid-range. But check this out. Forward and reverse, I don't know if you can hear that. Very, very loose there on the Makita. A lot more sturdy there. It feels a lot, like you gotta really kind of push it, it definitely feels real sturdy there. On the subcompacts, a little bit loose on the XPH12, but again, you can definitely hear how sturdy those are. Whereas the Metabo HPT definitely feels just, a little more kind of soft there. And here's a newer one, let's see. Yeah. Very, very loose there, front reverse. And what's funny is on the subcompact here, it feels more Makita-like here. It's still a little loose, but definitely takes a lot more, force, like very Makita style, to move that front and reverse switch there. Now, one of the big things that always bugs me about the Metabo HPT, and I know it's a cost-saving measure why they do it, but on the Makitas, you get the light here and here, so that's awesome. I like having the light there because it keeps it out of the way, and whenever you're working, it's not going to be in your face. If you got to glance down a little bit on the drill, make an adjustment up here, the light is not shining in your face. Where every single Metabo HPT drill has the light in front of your face there. I just hate the lights there. Of course, they're doing it for, cost savings, but not a fan of that at all, honestly. It's just really, really annoying there. So I will say, of course, we're talking about chucks here. It's funny that the Makita chucks are both plastic chucks on here, whereas Metabo HPT has a metal chuck on this one. On the newer one, definitely a metal chuck here as well too, and then the subcompact has got a plastic one. So definitely kind of interesting to see that on some of the chucks. I know some people, I know Zach is really big into the chucks. He likes always having metal chucks. He uses a lot of drilling for what he does for work. And of course, having a metal chuck is always nice to have. Where Makita does not always have a metal chuck, unless you are on some of their top end drills there, that's where you're gonna see the really, really nice chucks there. So if you were to say, hey, what's my favorite drill here to use? for like, you know, around the house stuff, mid-duty kind of stuff around the house, hammer drills. I definitely prefer this one, and the XPH12 are some of my, you know, best options there. If I'm doing it in a spot where I think I'm like, I might drop the tool, I'll probably grab the Metabo, just because they're so cheap. You know, it's almost like they're disposable tools at that point, but they're fantastic. That's what I always love about the two Metabo tools. They are like, you know, very affordable, very cheap, but they have really good quality for what they are. I've had better luck with Metabo than I have had with like Milwaukee or DeWalt, so that's why I keep buying the stuff. I definitely love their stuff a lot. Definitely love Makita for more like woodworking stuff. I like how, you know, just easy the chucks are to use, whereas the heavier duty, like, you know, doing concrete work, Metabo HPT does a fantastic job there. That's kind of my 2 cents on that one. Still want to use this one a little bit more, kind of get more of an opinion on it, just see how much I really like it, if I don't like it. So far, I think it's pretty cool. It's one of the smallest drills that I own, which is pretty cool, so it's kind of interesting to just see how small this thing is, and I like how it feels in the hand. It's got a really nice feel in the hand, really cool to see this thing, and really nice contrast there with that, you know, white Makita logo and the all black shell, so pretty cool. This, I would say, is not the best drill you can buy from Metabo HPT. However, though, when you find it on sale for $150 with the impact, 2 batteries, and a charger, it's unbeatable, honestly. That is such an awesome deal. Even buying, you know, when these were on sale, they were like $70, and you can pick up the impact for $70 in a kit. You get 4 batteries total, of course, so like $10 cheaper, but you're getting, of course, the older, you know, cheaper Metabo HPT batteries. This is pretty much my go-to drill for furniture work. I need to grab a drill, you know, do a quick hole in something, you know, pre-drill something. This is my go-to. I've been using this thing for quite a while, and I just love the compact drills. But I will say, I don't like compact drills that are not, you know, fast and powerful. They gotta be, you know, somewhat powerful, somewhat fast, and it's gotta be, you know, a tool that I'm gonna want to use. It can't just be a small drill but lacks all the power. This is an awesome drill. I would definitely say have one of these, you know, in your truck, in your garage. It's just a tool you're going to grab and use a bunch. Once you try it out, you're like, this thing has got so much power. It's definitely been ripped out of my hand, you know, a couple of times drilling into stuff, because I'm like, you might hit something and it's got a lot more power than you think it does. It's such an awesome little drill. Absolutely dirt cheap and gets the job done every single time. Yeah, it's not a hammer drill, but it's a pretty solid drill still. So this definitely seems like the improvement to it, where it's got the reactive force control, so it won't rip out of your hand, which is awesome. It just doesn't feel, you know, as solid as a more subcompact. You know, this is kind of silly here. And of course, I showed you the, you know, just how loud it is. I mean, it's quite a bit louder than this current subcompact we have now. Let's put them both into the slower mode and listen to it now too. Pretty much just as loud. Yeah, so that's one of the big, you know, my big complaint about this is it's just not, you know, it doesn't feel as refined as some of the Makita stuff definitely does. That's one of the big things why I like Makita a lot, because it's a very refined tool brand. All the stuff just works phenomenally, and it's very, very precise stuff. Whereas Metabo HPT is, you know, trying to get there. I feel like they do an amazing amount of value in their tools. They're just not to the Makita level, you know, but I think they could definitely get to if they tried. Of course, they're going to have higher pricing if they do, but that lifetime warranty, of course, combined with, you know, awesome tools that have been phenomenally reliable, I think is just absolutely incredible. So if I had to say, hey, if I had to pick only one of these drills here, which one would I use every single day? Probably the Makita XPH12, I would say, is easily the best of all these. If you just need something that's super versatile, you can do light duty, heavy duty stuff with it. This is going to be your go-to drill. It's always been probably my top drill that I've, you know, ever had. I actually last year did a video where I said, hey, what's the best drill I've ever owned? And I would say this is it right here. So balanced, so light in the hand. It just does everything right and has no real weaknesses that I can see in it. It's just, you know, just a really well-balanced tool. That's why I like it so much. If you had to say, hey, what's my favorite Metabo HPT drill here? If I just had to pick one that I would say would use the most, you know, if I just had to pick one of them, even though I use this one the most, I would still give it to this one because of the hammer drill function, and it functions very, very similar to the subcompact. It's a bit bigger, but has hammer drill, a bit more power, but it's just a phenomenal tool overall, and it's super cheap too. About 50 bucks on eBay. These things can be found all the time, and they go on sale, you know, all the time at Lowe's. I'm sure they'll get rid of these soon as they get some of the newer models in, but just awesome. If you're looking for something brand new though, here's what I would say to get. Wait for this to go on sale with the Impact for 150 bucks, and it's an awesome kit. I've been using it actually quite a bit as kind of like my throw in my truck kit kind of thing, and it's worked out great for me so far. Not the best drill, and I will say, when I say not the best drill, I'm being super nitpicky here because of course I'm trying out a bunch of different drills here, so the smallest differences do matter to me. But you know, the reactive force control on this thing is awesome. Of course, it comes with newer batteries as well too, which actually is on this tool. There's a lot of these batteries around, but it covers out the metal chuck as well, lifetime warranty. There's so much value packed in this tool. It is absolutely incredible, and it's just an awesome, you know, tool that Metabo HPT has done. I'm just not sure why it's so loud is my biggest complaint about it, but again, it gets the job done, so that's what really matters there. As for the Makita subcompact, I don't know, I really want to test the thing out a little bit more. I know it's really, really small, really, really compact. That's cool, but do I think Metabo HPT still does a better subcompact drill at this point? Maybe. I mean, I got this thing for, you know, 70 bucks with the Impact, with a small battery, and that was it. And yeah, that's one of those super rare deals you find. I saw the thing pop up on eBay. I'm like, yep, I'm grabbing that right now because I really want to test this thing out and see how it is. But when it comes to, you know, the subcompact, the more cheaper stuff, I think Metabo HPT has them easily beat by far. So that would be my choice for subcompact stuff. By far. But when you get into some of the heavier duty drills, you know, I'm not really covering heavy duty drills in this video. I definitely think Makita definitely takes that by far. And my main kit that I use for when I'm doing, you know, my larger jobs for clients, and they're like, you know, they're definitely really, really serious jobs. They got to get done really quick. It's all Makita XGT for me. That just gets the job done. Super heavy duty stuff. Battery life is just insane on those tools. But of course, you're going to spend quite a bit of money on those tools. And for me on those jobs, that's worth it. But for everything else, for my day-to-day stuff, you know, when I'm doing smaller jobs, I'm pretty much using almost exclusively Metabo HPT now because I can throw it in my truck. I don't really worry about it. You know, it's not that expensive, lifetime warranty. So whatever happens to it doesn't really matter to me. Whereas, you know, I'm still using a lot of Makita stuff here and there. And the problem with Metabo HPT is they just don't have the expansive line that Makita does. Metabo HPT would probably do absolutely amazing here in the States if they had, you know, outdoor power tools. They had just a massive selection of tools like Makita, DeWalt, Milwaukee does, but they just don't, unfortunately. So that's kind of where it's at there. But you know, some of my stuff is a little nitpicky here, but that's kind of the point of the video, is tell you about my experience with these tools. Which one would I buy again? And what are my most used tools here? So definitely, you know, XPH 12 over here, probably the best one out of this whole section, I would say. If you just say, I can only pick one of these drills, I gotta go do 5 jobs right now, yeah, XPH 12 by far easily my top choice there. Metabo HPT, definitely that best choice would be right here, the DV18 DBFL2. This thing is absolutely an awesome tool, very similar to the XPH 12 and quite a bit cheaper too. You can find them for probably 30-40 bucks cheaper. Also have that lifetime warranty that Metabo HPT is well known for, and of course it does have a metal chuck, whereas the XPH 12 it does not, so something to be aware of there. Whereas, you know, the new subcompact options here are, you know, this stuff is very, very competitive, of course. You can't really go wrong with any of these three, as I kind of went over each of the pros and cons of each one, but they do have some awesome pros and cons there. So hopefully this was kind of informative to you guys. You know, if you're looking for a new drill and you don't want to go for the full-size hammer drills, not everyone wants to, not everyone needs those drills. The subcompact stuff is pretty awesome now. It's not like, you know, this cheap garbage drill anymore. They have definitely stepped up quite a bit here, and they have some amazing offerings now. So guys, thanks for watching. Take care, have a great day, and stay safe out there.